So I've been sorting through kind of my archive and all the things that I've sort of collected over the past, well, since I started the publishing press, which was 2018. So I've sort of collected so much. I mean, this is probably a quarter of it. Just a lot of stuff, like bits of paper and photographs and just bits and pieces that kind of were part of the creative process. And I've got this idea because I'm publishing my book, The Eluscape, which is going to be, I don't know, probably before August. I'm currently just making the paper for it, which is taking a really long time. But basically the idea was so there's going to be 3 books which are like poetry, but then there's a book that's sort of more of like a reflective diary, and I've sort of like gone through all of the kind of pivotal points. I wouldn't say pivotal, more like I kept a diary basically but I keep a diary going through sort of my journey with the press and stuff and building it, and I still keep it now. Like I keep a constant diary. It really helps me just reflect on things, and like it's a good outlet for me. So I keep a diary for the press, and anything that happens or thoughts I get, moments, mundane or dramatic, anything I keep. So this is kind of what that looks like. It's normally a mess of things. I mean, I'm saying a diary, and I'm not meaning I'm writing in a diary. I mean, I'm writing on pieces of paper and then throwing them in a box. I would not say it has any linearity of like a diary. I mean, there's notebooks, but I'm again, like, they're not in any way, shape or form linear. So it is just a load of mess, really, to be honest. But what I thought would be really nice in sort of the book that is going to go with the poetry books that I've written, the book is kind of me trying to create a linear process from all of this mess. And what I thought would be really nice in that book was we need to have some visuals, which means I have to sort through all of this stuff, which, yeah, there's quite a lot of it. But I thought it would, like, not all of it's obviously going to get shown in the book, so I thought it would be nice to do a film and sort of go through everything. A lot of this stuff, as I'm going to go through it, I've not seen it in like a really long time, so I'm going to be surprised often, and I don't know, memories might show up, I don't know. But again, a lot of this stuff I would say I've not seen in a really long time, and a lot's happened, so it's going to be quite interesting for me to sort of go through all of this, to be honest. I'm not sure how interesting this will be for you, but I thought I kind of wanted to do a film, because not all of it's going to show. But also I kind of want to choose the pieces that I'm going to decide are going to be photographed or scanned and put into the book alongside the writing. Yeah, so I'm going to sort of, this is probably going to be one of many videos because there's so much stuff, and I don't want to do very long films, so I don't know how many videos. There's a lot of stuff. And again, I'm kind of going through everything here, but in the actual book there's going to be a few things. There's not going to be this much, so I'm gonna sort of go through it all. This is just from 2018, and I think some stuff has accidentally found itself from before, like this is 2012. I don't know why this is in here. So some stuff might appear from the depths of the past that I've forgotten about, that for some reason I've got mixed up. So that'll be interesting as well, to be honest, for me. I don't know what's going to show itself. So let's kind of go through it. I don't really know where to start, to be honest. I guess I'll start with this. This is from like 2012. I'm looking at a date in it. I don't even remember this. I mean, I think this is from when I was at uni. But I think maybe I put this in. I went through this. So this is to do with sort of like my book design mind. Like I love things I think this was from like there used to be this shop, this like newsagents in like a Manchester Evening newsagents in Northenden, and the guy who ran it for some reason stocked just stuff like, it was stationery like this, stuff that it looked like it had been made in the 90s or 80s. I mean, things, I think this was from it as well, like just weird like notebooks, and I really liked it. And I think this is, I mean, I probably put this in here by accident because of inspiration. Like I think this was 2010, so yeah, this was like the start of like being fascinated by the book as a form, I think. And I think I probably put this in because I was probably inspired by the front cover to do a book or something. But this was, yeah, this was my notes, I think, from, okay, yeah, it's from uni. Oh yeah, it is, because it's like library, because I think this was like my notebook, like my library notebook when I was at uni. Yeah, it is. But yeah, I really like the way it looks, and I think that's why it's in it. There's just something so satisfying about these like old 90s, like I don't know when it was, like 90s, 80s, like notebooks made during that time. I don't know, I just find them really satisfying. Again, this is another one of those notebooks from that strange kind of newsagents. But I think this was like back in 2010. So this is when I was working, this is before I went to university. And I was working in Corbières in Manchester at that point, full time. And this story was called Half Moon Harry, and it was inspired, I think it was a story inspired from working there. And I think this was the first moment I started experimenting with like book and form and how writing and bookmaking can sort of go together. I mean, it's very childish, but yeah, I think this was the start actually of that, which is probably why it's in this pile of stuff. But yeah, experimenting with how words work in books and how illustrations can inform that as well. And yeah, so that was, yeah, using space and writing in the book. I think that was part of my experiments, and I've obviously taped it there because it's like the end of the story. But yeah, very like childish. That picture, I don't know where that picture's from, I quite like it. Yeah, so that explains why that's in there. Then there's like a bookmark that I made by hand. I think that's just like a stamp that I have, and then handwritten. Just like probably just made it for a book fair the night before or something. Oh, these were like the original leaflets. So this is when we only had 6 books. I used to do these like kind of, they were on this very thin newspaper paper, which I love. I actually still love working with that. But these pictures were, if you can see, I think these pictures will show themselves at some point in this mess. But these pictures were, I was in, I don't know where was I? I was like in a market, a market, and maybe it was Spitalfields Market or some sort of market. And I think it was pictures like someone took of scaffolding, like in a building, like a building being constructed. And I just thought they were fascinating, and I made sort of like a photo collage with them on the wall. And it was kind of like the logo for the press at the start. Yeah, at the start of everything. So I didn't have a logo until I think 2020 or something. So it took me like 2 or 3 years to find a logo that I felt right. And then finally, my partner at the time, actually, he wrote that. He did the logo. He drew the logo for me. I suddenly had an idea of what I wanted for the logo. I had this idea of having this man, like, not, kind of a man dead on the ground, and that sounds morbid, but this idea of like a shadow of a man, like dead on the ground, and I kind of wanted it to represent sort of like the fragility of like spirit in the industrial landscape and industrial setting. And yeah, that's what I kind of wanted the logo to symbolise. So kind of a lament in that way. But yeah, these were really nice leaflets actually, because these are so simple. If you can see, it just has the first 6 publications. I mean, now I've published nearly 50, so you can see like this is very much the early days. And that was the original bio as well, if you can see it, I'm not sure. But yeah, that was the original biography. The website was so lo-fi at that point. I don't know what this is. I think this is just like something I got sent for free. It's like a little broadside from somebody. Oh, these were the photographs in Al's book. Yes, you can. And they just got cut off, and for some reason I just kept it. Kind of looked like a passport photograph. But yeah, I think they got cut in half during some sort of process, and I just kept them. I don't know why. I have a thing about throwing things away sometimes. Like I don't know. Oh, this is like a little business card from Burning House Books based in Glasgow. It's like a sticker from Between Shadows Press. So yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, Burning House Books stock some of our books, so you know it's kind of part of the story. Between Shadows Press, run by Tom Beckless. Yeah, originally I met Tom. I published even the Spiders Are Despondent. I edited and published his publication of poetry really early on. It was like, I think it was 2019, around then. And yeah, he ended up starting a press. He sort of, yeah, became part of the publishing world, small press kind of community in that way. These are some like little pictures from a book that I did of my own writing called Civil War. I don't know why I've kept these. I think these were just like scraps, but I don't know, I just don't like throwing things away. But I don't think out of all of this, I think that has to go in the book. I'm not sure about any of these though. Yeah, so I think those can stay on the... Oh, this is a photograph from when this is one of the first book launches I ever did, Lepus. I actually really like the way this table looks. It's so simple. Sometimes I feel like the press, when you the days of like the simplicity of the start is a very beautiful memory to me, and how simple everything was, and how the books were so simple because I had like no experience in book design or bookmaking. So there is a beauty in that, I feel, that sometimes I kind of miss. The naivety of the books and how they were made. And I like I don't know, this is really silly, but I like the table. I kind of would like a table cloth, like, or something at book fairs where I could put this. I think it makes the colour of the table makes the book stand out quite a lot. But yeah, I kind of miss the early days in that way. I think that'll have to go in the book at some point. Oh, this was another photograph from... This is a view from our flat window in city centre, Manchester city centre, where that was where I started the press. That was our window view, and I really liked that view. I loved that apartment. It was... I don't think I could have started the press anywhere else apart from that apartment. It was a really old building, and the history that surrounded our flat, like the buildings were so old, and you could just feel the history around us, the Manchester history and the Industrial Revolution and stuff. Like, you could feel it, and I just really loved living in that flat. I was very upset when we moved, but we moved to London. There was other things going on at that time, so we had to move, but I do miss that flat. I loved it. Oh, this is another picture. So this is a photograph from when I was probably about 4 or 5. You can see I've got this plastic kind of like dressing table on the side, and then my paints always were set up here, and in here I always kept all my pictures and one of the things I made in these boxes and suitcases. And I really wish I still had this, but I had this like paint water pot thing that had sunflowers on it. I wish I still had that. But yeah, that was my bedroom when I was younger. And I think, I don't know why that's in here, but I think it's always a memory to me that my favourite place to be is on my own making things. I'm not, you know, I wouldn't say my favourite place is socialising, if I'm being honest. I think my favourite place is being on my own making things. It's just very ground, I don't know, it just makes me feel happy. So this is another picture, so many pictures, another picture of, this was like my first bookbinding desk in the flat in Manchester, that I loved, the flat I loved. And I made this desk. I mean, you can see like these are the first few books that I did, and you can just see my very minimal bookbinding equipment here. This picture here is like, if you can see, it's of a sunflower, and I think I put that there as a memory, and I've got it downstairs. I'll have to dig it out, but it's a picture that I did when I was about 4, probably the same age here. And I did it in school though, and I remember the teacher being like, "You're not drawing a sunflower properly." Like, she kept saying that to me, like, "You're not drawing it properly, like, do the petals like this, do this like this." And I just remember thinking like, "Oh, you're annoying." You know, I just kept thinking, "You're so annoying," to the teacher. I was like, "Stop telling me how to draw a sunflower." So I think I put it there at that point, and I think it's still a memory to me when I see it. When people are telling me that like I'm not doing something properly, I just think, "You're really annoying, let me do it my own way." And I think that's how I see even bookbinding. That's why I kind of thought about doing some book tutorials and showing bookbinding, but I was like, I don't stick to the rules, I don't do anything right. I kind of just like to do things my own way, and that can sometimes be the wrong way. So that kind of painting is an emblem of, and a reminder of me just wanting to do my own thing, really, and ignoring teachers, even though I am a teacher. I don't know. Yeah, like, but I kind of want my students to ignore me as well. I want them to figure it out for themselves, you know. I want them to feel like safe enough to ignore me. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I want my students to feel safe enough to ignore me, to feel confident to ignore me and do their own thing. I feel that that's what I wanted in a teacher at that point. I wanted to feel safe enough in the environment of the classroom so that I could feel confident enough to do my own thing. So I hope that I don't know, I hope I bring that when I teach. This is like the leper. So again, for the picture I showed for the launch, this is my sister. She was helping me organise these pictures that I took so many photographs for this exhibition I was doing for the launch. So she was helping me like organise them. I think we had this plan to put them on this chicken wire and have them hanging, but it just ended up looking so shit that we ended up thinking scrap that. Even though I'd spent like £200 on all of these structures, I had to scrap it, get rid of it all, and I got really angry. I said, "We'll just put it on the floor, like I don't care anymore." And it ended up looking really good, and it was quite interesting because people kept, when they came in, they would like walk in it or kick it or kind of like disregard it. And my mum kept getting really angry. I remember like my mum like, "You're on the picture." But I kind of found it symbolic, like when I kept returning, they were kicked around, and I kind of thought it was a good metaphor for kind of Lepus, the book in itself, and kind of what it's about. So in a way, it ended up being quite like an interactive photograph installation where people became the people walking in the room. So as these photographs were on the floor, when people entered the room, they unconsciously kicked these photographs away and sort of hurt them and disregarded them without even knowing. And I just thought it was a really good metaphor. So I kind of liked how interactive this photograph installation became, even though it wasn't meant to be like that. So this was another picture of the installation. Yeah, it ended up, I should have took a picture afterwards really, but it ended up, all the photographs ended up being like everywhere, all over the place, like all mixed up. It looked awful, but in a good way. I don't know, I just kind of enjoyed that. I'd like to experiment more with that, I think. Kind of as an, you know, photo, you know, kind of that element of installation. Oh, this was my other desk. So this was more my like writing desk in the flat in Northern Quarter in Manchester. yeah, that was my writing desk. But that's where I would often sit and design the books on the computer and stuff. I remember my dad had bought me like a really good computer at that point to be able to do it. Ugh, so much stuff. I don't even know where to start. Oh, this is quite funny, I guess. This so this is my notebook from yes, this is my notebook from university, my 3rd year. And I mean, this is little reminders of essays that were due in. This was like my final semester, I think. I've got like reminders like deadline, draft of dissertation by 31st of March, short guide to Uruguay. I think that was for my Uruguayan cinema essay, 26th of March. German essay, 23rd of April. Heimat essay. I wrote about Heimat. And often what I would do is like I would write my essays first, handwrite them in my diary, and then I would go to the computer and type them up and then add things as I was writing. And I still do that now. So I would write in my notebook first, and then sort of like when I'd done that, and it would be like, it's gone. And that's how I'd sort of work. I still do work like this a little bit. I don't fold them over anymore. I kind of like this idea for like a book design though. Like a book design where things are folded and you have to unfold them. I don't know, I quite like that idea. Yeah, so, you know, after I'd finished it, I'd like just go like that. Yeah, after it had been typed up. This was for my like, so I remember. So this is quite funny, this. I think this is the point where I started writing for fun as well, and like writing essays for fun. So there's a few essays about, I've written about what is excitement, what does it mean, and how does it feel? Strange. So I don't know what I'm doing there. And I've written an essay about excitement for some reason. Kind of like little anecdotes. I think I started writing about film on my own here as well. And I started writing some poetry at this point as well. So why do we do anything? I mean, that probably sums up my mood at that point. So this was probably back in 2014, again before, yeah, 2014. I wrote, this is weird. I think I was on holiday with my partner or something, or maybe I was with my mum and dad on holiday and my sister, but I wrote beach vendor making bracelets and wishing people happiness while doing so. Don't know why I wrote that, but wrote something about being on holiday here. Gosh. This is quite an interesting time, I think, for myself, because when I'm looking at it, because this was when I was really, something got activated in my brain. It wasn't enough being a girlfriend anymore and being, because I'd been in a relationship since I'd been 17 to the same person, and with that point we'd been together, God, 7 years. Now in 2014, and I was 23, and I think we broke up around this time actually. We broke up for about a year at this point. And yeah, I don't know, I think I just entered this strange, I don't know, I've drawn a door there with some bricks and there's a Georgian woman. I don't know what's going on here. yeah, it was just a strange time. I just was reading a lot. I think I was reading, well, I was reading Proust at this point. I was reading Proust. A lot of Proust. And I think I really enjoyed his prose and how he spoke about his past and the present at the same time. And I think that's what kind of I experimented with at this point. So it is quite interesting. I don't know, I've not seen this notebook in such a long time. The quote of Paris: after you're dead, they'll make a man of you. So yeah, I think I'm definitely going through a... But yeah, I think this is the time I started writing, really. This is my sister's writing. Yeah, this is my sister's writing.